And good evening, Sword Family. Welcome to the Teahouse. Tonight, we're going to be discussing probably my favorite strategist from the Three Kingdoms period, Zhūgě Liàng. Zhūgě Liàng was the strategist for the Kingdom of Shu, which is the same kingdom that Guānyǔ was a part of, headed by Liu Bei, and Zhūgě Liàng was their strategist. That's right. And there's one particular story about Zhūgě Liàng that is my absolute favorite story about him, but we will probably save that for the very, very end. Just showing you the kind of mental acuity, co-host, the kind of mental acuity that this man had. Something known as the empty fort or the empty city strategy. So if you know about the empty fort or empty city strategy, you'll know what Zhūgě Liàng is, well, not most famous for, but it's one of the reasons that he's relatively famous. Dude, I cannot sit and pet you all night. That's not going to happen, so quit. But before then, as always, we have comments. And first through the door at 5:01 is our own Foxy. Hello and welcome to the Tea House. Please join us for a drink and more discussion on a Chinese legend. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yes, please do. This right here. This is why she's my official PR person, my official hype person. Because yeah. If it wasn't for her, I would probably not remember to do that. So, and Uncle Carl is joining us, greeting Foxy, and Foxy's greeting Carl back. And Aunt Donna is joining us. My brain tried to just compress that sentence into Aunt Jonna. Aunt Jonna. Yeah. Greeting Foxy and the Whitman Dude, and Foxy greeting Donna and asking how was your day. And Carl greeting Donna, and Kitty is joining us. Evening all. Hello, kitten. Headed for being snowed in. Ouch. That doesn't sound fun. Greetings to Kitty, and oh, Carl had a bad night, woke before 4, so I'm fighting sleep all day. That's what naps are for. Of course, sometimes naps are the reason why you wake up so early too. So, and more greetings for Kitty. And this is true. We did have a record high temperature for this day because it was, I think it hit 51, which for mid-December is kind of insane. Carl thinks theirs was a record low. Maybe that's tomorrow. Definitely stay warm down there. Yeah. Ooh, going down to -4 tomorrow. They said, "Oh, no, we don't like that." Yucky. Yes, yucky. And Sarah is joining us. Hey guys, listening and glad to be around you. We are glad that you are here, Sarah. As evidenced by the fact that Carl greets Sarah, and Donna greets Sarah, and Foxy greets Sarah, and black hearts from Sarah. And Ruby is joining us. Hey, everyone. Hello, Ruby. And greetings for Ruby, and greetings for Ruby, and greetings for Ruby. And Foxy's hair is almost long enough to tuck behind her ears. Growing fast? Not really. It's been... actually have a picture. About a year. That's what I was thinking, about a year, because I have a picture that literally the day that... Because I have a picture right here. It's literally the day that you cut it. And the date on that is June 12th of 2025. So it's only been 6 months. I thought it was longer than that too. It's been 6 months. And Donna liked and shared. Thank you. And there's our lone Twitch viewer, Midnight. Hey, Sword people. Hello, Midnight. And greetings for me and more greetings for me. As I was a little late, StreamYard was being weird and not wanting to read my camera, so I had to switch it to the other camera. Oh, I did. Damn, I did. Can't have that. Nope. Sign's got to be there. There we go. I did forget my bracket. My background sign. My God. Wake up, tongue. Yes, puppy lovin's. The extreme introvert is your hype person. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And Sarah volunteering to pet and play with the nephew while listening. He would probably like that. Gotta love the spoonerisms. Yes. Dude, you can't push my chair. You're going to push me. Fun if you're snowed in with the right person. This is true. This is true. It always bothered me back during COVID when we had the not lockdowns, because a lot of places were not locked down at all. Despite the fact that people were constantly bitching about lockdowns, there were a lot of places that, personally here in our town, we were not locked down at all. We were able to move around freely, despite the fact that there was a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic going on. But it always bothered me when people would say shit like, you mean I have to stay home with my family and my spouse? Like, dude, no. This is the family that you created. You married that person. You made these kids. I don't care if you're joking or not. You don't need to say shit like that about the family that you created. Quit being a dick. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Sarah's snowed in too. I hear Carl about 12 hours of sleep since 8 a.m. Since Wednesday morning? My God, Sarah, get some sleep, dude. Going into the negatives before wind chill. Let's see where we're at right now, because I'm just curious. Because it's always worse after the sun goes down, obviously, and the sun's definitely down now. We are currently at 40, feels like 36, which is better than the 26 that we had yesterday. And it's going to get down to about 30 tonight. That's not terrible. I can probably handle that. It was right. Don't miss those temperatures at all. I'm sure you don't. Not even winter solstice yet. This is true. Not allowed. I do not consent. I don't think the weather requires your consent, but hey. Less time than I thought. It needs a trim or something. So do I, because I got my hair covering the tips of my ears again, and I hate that. I get these little curls, like right there. 9 degrees here and just got an extreme cold warning on my phone. Ugh. No, thank you. Poor Sarah, and greetings for midnight, and wind chill as low as 25 below. Ugh. No, thank you. And more greetings for midnight, and till noon tomorrow. Might not be going shopping. Yeah, I would not go shopping in that either. Yep, Donna, just freaking freezing degrees at this point. Yes. I think that the temperature should just stop at 0, and below 0 should just be burr. What's the temperature outside? It is burr. We're not going anywhere. Oh, Donna, you got snowed in with me, poor Aunt Donna. Well, I'm sure that we can all think of worse people to be snowed in with. I can definitely think of worse people to be stuck with. This group would not be on that list at all. Stay warm as you can. We care about you guys. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And Sarah laughing at the Dark Pope. Not any worse than 2020, yeah. 5C for anyone not from the U.S., yes. Been a whole ordeal keeping me up, but I might just take you guys to bed with me, cuddle puddle. Hey, I'm all in favor of a cuddle puddle. Nothing wrong with that. Pop called home from Florida one winter to complain because it was 40 down there, no sympathy. You know how cold it has to be up there, up here to be that cold down. Yeah. Like I said in the green room, someone who lived in Utah moved to Texas and was complaining about it being in the 40s in December. Nah, try again. Shop online. I do most of my shopping online. Well, not grocery shopping because Walmart is like right there. It's within walking distance. Worst I remember is -60. Never been that bad here. Can relate. Remember my nose freezing together when I breathed in too hard? That happens. That happens down here. It's just not that bad. Hates us less than the others. Yes, I hate you less than the others. Yep. Ouch, Foxy, indeed. Yes, we hate you guys less than the others. Yep. It's a toss-up. It's do I hate you guys less than the others? Do I hate the others more than I hate you guys? You know, you have to look at it from both sides. I don't trust them to pick out the groceries I want. Yeah. Oh, chosen family, absolutely. Family is chosen. I have been over this. The people that are blood related are relatives. That's not family. Family is chosen. I don't care what anybody says. Family is chosen. Relatives are blood. Friends are people that can become family, but they don't necessarily have to be. I don't call you guys my sword family flippantly. I mean that shit. And we're 15 minutes in, so I can probably swear by now. Foxy doesn't either, Donna. Maybe boxed up and not fruits and veg. Yeah, I saw a picture earlier this week that someone had done online shopping and they wanted pomegranates and they got purple onions because I guess the person doing the shopping for them didn't know the difference between a pomegranate and an onion. So yeah, if you're going to be doing, you know, you're going to be letting someone else shop for you, make sure that they're not an idiot. Just, you know, just kind of a PSA. All right, so Zhūgě Liàng, born in 181 AD and died in 234 in September or October. Courtesy name was Kongming. He was a statesman, a strategist, and an inventor who lived during the Three Kingdoms period. The picture that I chose for the thumbnail is actually a picture of Zhūgě Liàng from the Dynasty Warriors video game, which is how I learned about the Three Kingdoms period, learned about a lot of the battles. The people that tell you that you can't learn history from video games, they don't know what they're talking about. You absolutely can learn history about video games. I learned about the Three Kingdoms period from Dynasty Warriors. I learned about Italian history from Assassin's Creed. You can learn history from video games. If it wasn't for Dynasty Warriors and they have a Japanese, I don't know if I'd call it a spin-off, but it's the same basic idea, called Samurai Warriors. You learn Japanese history from Samurai Warriors. You learn Chinese history from Dynasty Warriors. Almost came and put up the sign for him, then remembered what I was wearing or lack thereof. Yeah, that probably would have. I mean, you're covered. You wouldn't have gotten the channel taken down, but yeah. Upstairs, unless getting something to eat or go somewhere, and reluctantly at that. Yeah. Trust me, I know. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On to the show. No bringing the party down. And Dan is joining us. Good evening, Dan. There's Dan. Hello, Dan. You'd have made Uncle Carl very happy. Probably true. Other methods of learning history than history classes, very much better and less like a horse tranquilizer. Yeah, exactly. Greetings from Dan and more greetings from Dan. Just say this tank top and shorts combo is more green room than some others. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. And more greetings for Dan. So yeah, Zhūgě Liàng served as a chancellor at the beginning of the Kingdom of Shu. And from the very beginning of the Kingdom of Shu, he was a chancellor prime minister. From the founding in 221, and later he served as regent from 223 until he died. So a regent in a monarchy is a person appointed to execute the office of the monarchy temporarily. So he was the head of the Kingdom of Shu for a period of time. He is recognized as the, not one of, the most accomplished strategists of his era. Not one of, but the most accomplished. His reputation grew even while he was living in seclusion, earning him the nickname Wulong or Fulong, meaning sleeping dragon. When he was regent, and while he was chancellor, his methods of administration drew from legalism and Confucianism. He was critical of legalist thought of Xiangyang and advocated benevolence and education as tenets of being a ruler. He has a uncommon two-character compound family name, Zhūgě, Zhūgě Liàng. So he has three characters in his name, but instead of the usual surname, one character, and then personal name, two characters, he has a compound family name, which is two characters. It's not very common, but it does happen. And yes, Dan is definitely popular. This is true. Just give Carl a few minutes. Yeah, he'll be back. It's all right. And this is also true. We very much care about Dan and always enjoy having him around. Any of my streams, the green room, whenever, if you ever decide to, pick back up Last Man Standing, I will try and be around a lot more often than I was in the past. I don't have as much going on this year as I had last year, Len is off playing an angel at the church's live nativity. Awesome. Camels are there again this year. Don't know who owns camels in this county, but someone leads an interesting life. All righty then. The main source, or the main historical source on Zhūgě Liàng's life is his biography in volume 35 of Record of the Three Kingdoms, which was written by historian Chen Zhou in the 3rd century. In the 5th century, the historian Pei Songzhi annotated the Record of Three Kingdoms by incorporating information from other sources to the original work and adding his personal commentary. During the Qing dynasty, historian Zhang Zhu compiled and arranged multiple pieces of literature on Zhūgě Liàng into an 11-volume collection called Zhūgě Zhōngwū Hou Wen Ji, or the Literature Collective of Marquis Zhūgě Zhōngwū. So we have multiple books and series about about his life. But you can trace most of them back to Chen Shou and Record of the Three Kingdoms. Record of the Three Kingdoms is the basis for the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is the book that Dynasty Warriors is based off of. You have Records of the Three Kingdoms, to Romance of the Three Kingdoms, to Dynasty Warriors. Zhūgě Liàng's ancestral home was in Yangdu County, near present-day Yinan County in Shandong. There are two other accounts of his ancestral origins in the Wushu and the Fengshu Tongyi. The Wushu records that his ancestral family name was actually just Ge, and his ancestors were from Zhu County, giving you Zhūgě, basically Ge of Zhu. But there was already a Ge family in Yangdu County, so the newcomers became the Zhūgě to distinguish him from the Ge family that was already there. And over time, Zhūgě Liàng's ancestors just took Zhūgě as their official family name. So that's one version. The Fengshu Tongyi recorded that Zhūgě Liàng's ancestor was Ge Ying, who served under Chen Sheng, a rebel leader that led the Dazhishang uprising against the Qin dynasty. Chen Sheng later executed Ge Ying, but during the early Han dynasty, the emperor considered that Guānyǔ was unjustly put to death. So he gave a title to Guānyǔ's ancestor as the Marquis of Zhū County to honor Guānyǔ. Over time, Guānyǔ's descendants adopted Zhūgě as their family name. The earliest known ancestor of Zhūgě Liàng who held the family name Zhūgě was Zhūgě Feng, an official of the Western Han Dynasty, who served as head of the retainers under Emperor Yuan. Zhūgě Liang's father, Zhūgě Gui, served as an assistant official in Taishan during the late Eastern Han under Emperor Ling. Zhūgě Liàng had an elder brother, a younger brother, and two elder sisters. So he was kind of a late middle child. Two older sisters, an elder brother, and a younger brother, and he's right here. So kind of a late middle child. His elder brother was Zhūgě Jin, and his younger brother was Zhūgě Jun. He is described as being 8 qi tall, which is around 6 feet. At an early age, he was orphaned and raised by a cousin of his father. The cousin accompanied the cousin to a commandery where he was later appointed as the administrator sometime in the mid 190s. Later, after the central government designated Zhu Hao as the administrator, Zhūgě Xuan left the commandery and brought Zhūgě Liàng and Zhūgě Jun to Jing province to live with the provincial governor Liu Biao, who was an old friend of the cousin. After Zhūgě Xuan died, Zhūgě Liàng moved to Dong County and settled down in Longzhong, an area around 20 li west of the capital of Jing province. In Longzhong, he lived life as a peasant and spent all of his free time reading and traveling the countryside. He enjoyed reciting folk songs from his ancestral home and maintained close relations with well-known intellectuals. But the local intellectuals scorned him when he learned that he compared himself to known intellectuals. Between the late 190s and the early 200s, Zhūgě Liàng studied and traveled with more known intellectuals, but whatever he would read, he would only pick up on the key points of that and move on. But his friends would focus on details and even memorize the details of the things they were reading. Throughout his time in Longzhong, he just kind of lived a carefree life. He would sit in deep thought for extended periods of time. He often told his friends that they would serve as administrators or governors. But when they asked him what he wanted to do, he would just laugh at them. Just, eh. He met Liu Bei around the year 207. At the time, Liu Bei was just a warlord and was a guest of Liu Biao, who Zhūgě Liàng lived with for a time. Liu Bei visited Zhūgě Liàng 3 times. During their meetings, Liu Bei sought Zhūgě Liang's advice on how to compete with the other warlords to revive the Han dynasty. In response, Zhūgě Liàng presented his plan, which envisioned a division of China into 3 parts, mainly the domains of Liu Bei, Cao Cao, and Sun Quan, which is basically what the 3 kingdoms became. And according to Zhūgě Liang's plan, Liu Bei should seize Jing province and Yi province from their respective governors, Liu Biao and Liu Zhang, so that he could establish a solid foothold in the southern and western parts of China. Liu Bei could then form an alliance with Sun Quan, who ruled eastern China, and together they could wage war against Cao Cao, who controlled northern China. After this meeting, Liu Bei became very close to Zhūgě Liàng and spent more time with him, much to the chagrin of Guānyǔ and Zhang Fei. Liu Bei was said to have quoted, "Now that I have met Kongming, I'm like a fish that has found water. I hope you'll stop making unpleasant remarks." At which time, Guānyǔ and Zhang Fei stopped complaining to him. Hey, it's a kickbot. Told her she was being typecast playing an angel. Well, you know. I agree. Hey, Trey is joining us. Hey, y'all. YouTube never gave us the start notice. We're sliding in Nate. That happened to me earlier today. No. I am patron to a reaction channel. And he does reactions once a month from Patreon requests. And today was my request. And YouTube didn't give me the notification that the stream started until 15 minutes late. Luckily, I was already there, so I didn't miss it. But YouTube notifications have been being weird this weekend, so it's not a problem. Always welcome. Greetings to Trey. Greetings to Trey. Shame on YouTube, yeah. That's why I have an alarm on my phone. I have several alarms on my phone. Hobo was smacking my head, but I thought he was trying to get early noms. Nice. The cats are aware of me. Good boy, Hobo. Nice. Hey, we have another Twitch viewer. Robin is joining us. Hey, Robin. How's it going? Haven't seen you for a while. Lots of war going on in those days. Yeah, there's a reason that the Three Kingdoms period was the Three Kingdoms period. Because you have three powerful warlords all trying to take control of provinces and land from each other and winning and losing spots. YouTube almost never pings me when Dawn streams. I get most of the ones for Indie CD, which... And more greetings for Robin. Nice. All right, so in the autumn of 208, shortly before Liu Biao's death, Cao Cao led his forces on a southern campaign to conquer Jing province. When the forces reached the capital, Liu Biao's younger son, who had succeeded his father as governor, surrendered. Just as soon as he saw Cao Cao's army, he's just like, nope, we give up, we're done. Upon receiving news of the surrender, Liu Bei immediately evacuated his base and led thousands of his followers, both military and civilian, on a journey to join Liu Biao's elder son. Along the way, Cao Cao's forces caught up with him and defeated them at the Battle of Changban. And Liu Bei and a handful of followers managed to escape. And when they reached their destination, Liu Bei sent Zhūgě Liàng as his representative to meet Sun Quan to discuss an alliance against Cao Cao. Zhūgě Liàng met with Sun Quan and basically asked him to join forces to battle with Cao Cao. When Sun Quan asked Zhūgě Liàng why Liu Bei did not surrender, Zhūgě Liàng replied that Liu Bei was just a mere warrior, but he remained faithful and refused to surrender. That Liu Bei is the scion of the House of Han, and that his heroism and talents are renowned throughout the world. That he is admired by gentlemen and commoners alike. How could he turn his back on that to serve Cao Cao? This angered Sun Quan and said that no one but himself would rule the territory and people of the Kingdom of Wu. When Sun Quan asked Zhūgě Liàng how Liu Bei could expect to resist Cao Cao, given his defeat at Changban, Zhūgě Liàng told him that Liu Bei may have suffered a defeat at Changban, but now many of his men who were scattered during the battle are returning to him, along with 10,000 Marines under Guānyǔ, another 10,000 from Liu Qi's army. So he has 20,000 troops. That Cao Cao's army has traveled a great distance, and they are exhausted. That the Northerners are unfamiliar with naval warfare, that the people of Jing province were forced to submit and are not truly loyal to Cao Cao, and that if Sun Quan would also send his officers to lead the battle, that their combined might would certainly defeat Cao Cao's army. And once defeated, Cao Cao would have to return to the north, leading to the kingdoms of Wu and Shu being able to coexist. A advisor recommended that Zhūgě Liàng switch his allegiance from Liu Bei to Sun Quan, but Zhūgě Liàng refused. When asked why, Zhūgě Liàng said that Sun Quan was a good leader, but from what I have seen of his character, he will not make good use of my abilities to their fullest extent. Then you have the Battle of Red Cliffs, which I did an entire show on. Where Zhūgě Liang's plan for the alliance between Sun Quan and Liu Bei convinced Sun Quan to take part in the battle. They won the battle, defeated Cao Cao, and forced him to retreat. If you haven't seen my show on the Battle of Red Cliff, please go back and watch it, because that is by far my favorite battle in all of the Three Kingdoms period. And not just because of the victory of the allied forces of Sun Quan and Liu Bei. There's so much about that battle that falls on the shoulders of Zhūgě Liàng. His strategies are what led to that victory. Battle of Red Cliffs was just amazing. Oh, just got back from Hawaii. Oh, getting over illnesses and lots of work. Nice. Hi, bunnies. Yeah. Interesting how warlords seem to always be a part of Chinese history up until the modern era. Well, yeah. Old traditions are hard to break. Very true. Parallels can be made all over the world. Warlords pop up in almost every culture. Yes, they do. Very true, Dan. Some form of alcohol, some form of fried dough, and warlords, and swords, and spears. Some things are universal. Yeah. Following the Battle of Red Cliff, Liu Bei nominated Liu Qi as inspector of Jing province and sent Liu Qi's forces to conquer the 4 commanders in Jing province. The administrators of the 4 commanderies surrendered. After Liu Qi died in 209, Sun Quan agreed to lend the territories in Jing to Liu Bei and nominated him as governor. After assuming the governorship in Jing province, Liu Bei appointed Zhūgě Liàng as military advisor of the household and put him in charge of collecting tax revenues. In 211, the governor of Yi province invited Liu Bei to lead troops into Yi province to assist him in conquering his rival. While Liu Bei was away in Yi province, Zhūgě Liàng remained behind with Guānyǔ to guard Jing province. When Liu Bei decided to take over the lands in Yi province, Zhūgě Liàng, along with Zhang Fei and Zhao Yun, led troops into Yi province to reinforce Liu Bei. They conquered many counties and commanderies along the way, and eventually joined Liu Bei in surrounding Chengdu, the capital of Yi province. After Liu Zhang surrendered in 214, Zhūgě Liàng was appointed as military advisor general again and made a staff member of the office of general of the left. In 220, after Cao Cao's death, his son Cao Pi usurped the throne, ending the Eastern Han dynasty, and established the state of Wei and himself as the new emperor. This is the beginning of the Three Kingdoms period. The following year, in 221, Liu Bei's followers urged him to declare himself emperor to challenge the legacy of Cao Pi, but Liu Bei refused. But Liu Bei did eventually declare himself emperor and established the state of Shu Han, and appointed Zhūgě Liàng as his imperial chancellor. Zhūgě Liàng also held the additional appointment of supervisor of the imperial secretariat and had full acting imperial authority. After Zhang Fei's death in 221, Zhūgě Liàng also took on the additional appointment as Colonel Director of Retainers, which Zhang Fei previously held. In 222, following his defeat at the Battle of Shaoting, Liu Bei retreated to Yong'an County and became critically ill in 223. He summoned Zhūgě Liàng from Chengdu and told him that he was 10 times more talented than Cao Pi and would definitely bring peace to the empire and accomplish our great mission. If my heir can be assisted, then assist him. If he turns out to be incompetent, then you make your own decision. That made Zhūgě Liàng regent, basically. The final command of Liu Bei to Zhūgě Liàng was, you may make your own decision. Basically saying, you are in charge. Following Liu Bei's death, Liu Shan ascended the throne and succeeded his father as Emperor of Shu. After his coronation, Liu Shan gave Zhūgě Liàng the title of Marquis of the Wu and gave him a personal staff. Later, Zhūgě Liàng assumed governorship of Yi province and personally oversaw all state affairs. When rebellion broke out in Nanzhong region, Zhūgě Liàng did not immediately take military action because he thought it was not appropriate to do so in light of Liu Bei's death. But he did send an ambassador to the Kingdom of Wu to make peace and rebuild the alliance with Cao Wei and the Kingdom of Shu. During his regency, Zhūgě Liàng set the objective of Shu as restoring the Han dynasty. Shortly after he became regent, he received letters from Wei officials. Instead of responding to each individual, he wrote a memo basically refusing to submit to the Kingdom of Wei. He wanted to personally lead forces on the southern campaign in Nanzhong to suppress the rebellion and pacify the tribes living there. Eventually, they were forced to pull the soldier from Nanzhong after they defeated a Nanman tribal leader. He forced the leader to pay tribute to the Shu government and appointed locals to serve as administrators. He took part in northern expeditions in the Battle of Jieting and the Tianshui revolts. He took part in the siege of Chensang and the Battle of Jianwei. Around May of 229, Sun Quan declared himself emperor to put himself on par with Liu Shan. When the news reached the imperial court of Shu, many officials were outraged. But Zhūgě Liàng, despite the fact that he agreed that Sun Quan lacked any legitimacy, he considered the alliance was vital to the survival of the Kingdom of Shu. So he sent a couple of people to congratulate Sun Quan on being emperor. He took part in many additional battles. And in 234, they reached a stalemate at the Wuzhan Plains, which lasted over 100 days. Sometime between September 11th and October 10th of 234, Zhūgě Liàng became critically ill and died at camp. He was only 54 years old at the time of his death. Before he died, he said that he wanted as simple a burial as possible. He wanted a tomb just big enough for his coffin to be in. He wanted to be dressed in the same clothes that he wore when he died. He didn't want any ornaments or decorative objects. He just wanted a coffin and his body. And that's it. Liu Shan issued an imperial edict to mourn and gave him the posthumous title of Marquis Zhongwu, or the Loyal Martial Marquis. That is the life of Zhūgě Liàng. Again, just like with Wu Zetian, with all of the battles that Zhūgě Liàng took part in, I could continue this into multiple shows just talking about all of the battles that this man took part in. Sharp, pointy things are fun. Yes. One sword. Two sword. Within reaching distance. Practice sword. Within reaching distance. Many folding knives within reaching distance. Yes, they can be, yes. Unless they get directed at you, well, you know. That's why you have your own sharp and pointy things, yes. Belly rub time for Inigo, not Thesis. Just thought I would clarify. Yeah. My belly rub will come later. Exactly. This man was an incredible strategist. Most of the battles that he took part in were either won or stalemate because of him. So now, almost at the hour mark, we get to my favorite story of Zhūgě Liàng, the empty city strategy. Basically, what you have is you have Zhūgě Liàng at a fort or a small city. Zhūgě Liàng and 10,000 soldiers in this small fort. The main army of the kingdom was dispatched to the east. So you only had Zhūgě Liàng and 10,000 soldiers. A general of the kingdom of Wei, Sima Yi, led 200,000 soldiers to attack. Zhūgě Liàng knew that his 10,000 soldiers would be slaughtered by the 200,000 soldiers of Sima Yi. But he knew that recalling the rest of the army would take too long. So you have the empty fort strategy. He ordered the soldiers and citizens to leave the city, keeping about 20 soldiers. He had these 20 soldiers disguise themselves as citizens of the town, sweeping streets and watering plants. He then ordered all of the gates of the city to remain open. So you have Sima Yi arriving at the city with 200,000 men behind him. And he looks at this city and finds it empty except for a few citizens. And then up on top of the city wall, you have Zhūgě Liàng sitting, leaning up against the wall, playing a lute. Sima Yi was about to turn around and retreat. But his son rode up to him and said, "Father, the city is empty. Why don't we just take it?" Sima Yi replied, "Because the city is empty, we should not just enter and take it." Look at Zhūgě Liàng up there. He is a great strategist. all this time, he's been very, very careful. This is a trick. If we enter the city, we will fall into his trap. So Sima Yi and the entire 200,000-man army turned around and retreated. Sima Yi easily could have taken the city and captured Zhūgě Liàng. But he saw the great strategist Zhūgě Liàng calmly sitting on a wall, playing a lute, and thought, oh no, this is a trap. So he turned around and left. Sima Yi eventually, because of his cautiousness in this battle, lived long enough to unite the three kingdoms into the Sui dynasty. The empty city strategy was not originally created by Zhūgě Liàng. It was first used 800 years before during the spring and autumn period, which is from 770 to 475 BCE. Very, very similar situation. In 666 BCE, Guānyǔ led the Chu army to attack the state of Zheng. The Chu army was successful in their attack, and they were just outside the capital. The king of Zheng summoned his ministers, and a senior minister basically told him that surrendering are not good strategies. They have a treaty with a nearby state that would help them in times of war. So if we can delay the Zheng army, the arriving Qi army could save us. So the Zheng king ordered his soldiers to hide themselves and not let the enemy see them. All the shops would carry on their business. People would go along with their regular lives without showing any concern. The gates of the city were left open, and the drawbridge leading into the city would be put down. When the vanguard of the Chu army reached the capital, they were surprised to find it undefended. Guānyǔ was worried about an ambush, so he ordered the Chu army to retreat. So the empty fort or empty city strategy was not created by Zhūgě Liàng, but it was administered successfully by Zhūgě Liàng. Sounds like a time for creative strategy, yeah. Because they want you to. Exactly. You look into a city that you know that they know you're coming. You look into a city, you look into a fort, and it's wide open. There's no soldiers waiting for you outside. There's a few handful of citizens inside going about their business. Why don't we just take it? Because they want us to go in there. If we go in there, we're going to die. You wouldn't have. You would have successfully taken the city. They didn't have nearly enough men to stop you from taking the city. But you don't know that. All you see is wide open gates and a handful of people and one crazy guy sitting up on a wall strumming a lute. Very, Very smart. Truth strength is appearing to be weak when your enemies know for a fact that you aren't. Exactly. Or scared to death that you actually have a plan. Yeah. 10,000 crossbows are not anything infantry wants to face. Very true. This is also true. So that is a very highly condensed version of the life of Zhūgě Liàng, strategist for the Kingdom of Shu. And if you look right down here, what does it say? Under my name, Swordsman of Shu Han. Whenever I'm playing a Dynasty Warriors game, I will play all campaigns. I've said this 1,000,001 times. I have a completionist streak. I have to play all avenues of a game if there are avenues to play. But I will always, especially if the game, like Dynasty Warriors 4, has a create an officer feature, I will make a swordsman and I will fight for the Kingdom of Shu. Why? Because, number one, Cao Cao's a dick. I hate that guy. So the Kingdom of Wei is immediately out. Sun Quan, while being an effective ruler, is kind of stupid. And Liu Bei has legitimate blood connection to the royalty of the Han dynasty. So I pick to fight on the side of the Kingdom of Shu. Because Liu Bei was the legitimate heir to rule the country. If it wasn't for the fall of the Han dynasty, the Manchus wouldn't have been able to come in, take over the country, and usher in all these stupid laws like the damn braids. None of that would have happened if the Han dynasty wouldn't have fallen. Hate is a negative word, but a creep is a creep. This is true. It is unfortunate truth. Cao Cao is a horrible person. Just flat out. He's a bad guy. So, great show, educational. Thank you, Carl. I do endeavor to be as educational as possible with these shows, even when I'm just rambling about things, not directly discussing, people or places or things. Sounds like a smart person. Yeah. Now, next week, we are going to be discussing our final female Chinese folk hero. You guys aren't doing your homework. I only have 2 suggestions right now.
I sent you one.
When did you send one?
It's on your other Facebook.
Well, don't send it to that one. I never get on there.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm not going to get on there now. Okay, apparently I have 3, but that's only 3. Come on, guys. You convey more wisdom than your years tend to suggest. I have heard that. I've heard I'm an old soul. Maybe you're not the only old god there, Dan. All right, so we have 3 suggestions. We need more. Come on, guys. Go out and research and find interesting female Chinese folk heroes so that I can put up a poll in a day or 2 and we can pick someone to have for this last show in a week. The next one, on the 27th, is going to be another male. I haven't 100% decided if it's going to be Qi Jiguang or Feng Sayuk. Both are well known. Qi Jiguang was a general. Feng Sayuk is just a folk hero. But we need some more choices here, guys. Rejected princesses. Google. Go out and find somebody that you want to learn more about. Then I will put up the poll. We will decide what's going to be next week's show. But that's all for tonight. I will be back in 2 days for another Nine Dragons play stream. Hopefully, we will make an appearance on Creatives of Play. Oh, excuse me. Over on the Indie CD channel on Wednesday. We would have gone on the last show, but certain things kept us away. Certain personal things that I will not discuss here. If you want to know more, you can go ahead and ask me. I will tell you. But hopefully, we'll be back over there on Wednesday. And if you don't see me over there, and you don't see me on Monday, I will be back, as always, right here next Saturday to discuss a female Chinese folk hero for the last time this year. Don't know if mine counts as a folk hero. Well, we'll have to find out, I guess. And there is Joe. Great show as always. Thank you, Joe. Been listening on the big screen. Still want your opinion on the story in progress. Find your insights as valuable as fun gold. Yeah. Send me the link again. I don't have it, and I shut my computer down at the end of every night and clear the cache, so I don't have the link, so send it to me. Greetings to Joe. Yeah. Foxy's got it pulled up to have a look too. Not sure if I can give much direction. Hey, direction, input. I want to give a very special shout out to my patrons, Dan Hollifield, Carl Whitman, Rich Asplin Jr., and Joe and Shalana Bachman. You guys are amazing. Hopefully, by the end of this month, I will be able to take my meager Patreon funds and get that Spearhead trainer. That trainer is going to be invaluable to this channel because I have at least 6 videos that I have set aside for that Spearhead. It's going to make content for this channel. At least 6 videos. So look forward to that. Also, I did something. I don't know if it's, something that is a smart thing to do, but I created a wish list over on Amazon. There's not much on it right now, but there are things on there that I can use to make content here. So, if anybody else, anybody out there, anybody watching now, anybody watching in the future, wants ideas for something, for gifts for me, whether it's Christmas, birthday, or just because, there is now an Amazon wish list for that. I'm not e-begging. I hate e-begging. Not doing that. But if you want to do something for me and for the channel, now there's a wish list. I'm not a big fan of Amazon. Not a big fan of Bezos. But It's a way that you can get things for the channel and for me. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link into the chat. Again, it's not a requirement. I'm not making anybody get me anything. But if you want to, there's the list. Okay? I will be periodically adding more things to it as I find things that will be useful to the channel and to me. Again, not required, not e-begging. I'll probably end up eventually putting it down there in the little ticker. But it's a wish list. And right now, there's not a whole lot of like really expensive shit on there at all. I think the most important, the most expensive thing on there is $65, I think. And that's a drum, a Chinese style drum. Most of it is $20 and under. There's a couple of over $20 things, but most of it is $20 and under. So there you go. I really appreciate everybody for joining me here tonight. I will see you all next time. I'm going to go get me some food. But I love you all. And if I don't see you Monday or Wednesday, I'll see you right back here next Saturday. 再见。